Welcome to my vagina. This is our newest segment, the Clam Jam. Today we're talking about transgender equality and other issues. There's a lot of misinformation and ignorance surrounding the trans community, and we're here to dispel that. We have Kimberly to help us with that.
This is uncomfortable.
Do your dance, shake your clam at the Clam Jam.
You squeeze.
All right.
Squeeze.
All right. All right.
Thank you for joining me on that. So I made a faux pas last week. I used the acronyms MTF and FTM. Please tell me why that's not okay.
First of all, you're okay.
Thank you.
Most people prefer, you know, trans man, trans woman, transgender person. And when you say MTF and F to M, it kind of brings up like the past life of that trans person. Trans in itself does describe a transition from something to another something. The less that you bring up gender that they were raised as, you know, the better.
It's like looking at somebody's fat photos when they were younger.
Right. You were fat, now you're skinny, so you're an FTS.
I feel like I know a lot of people, and also I fit into that category of being curious and wanting to ask questions, but not wanting to step over that line.
People that I know, they would much rather prefer to be asked what their preferred pronoun is when you first meet them, as opposed to just you assuming.
Right.
That's what people don't like, is like when you're assuming something about someone else, because then it's like, you know, that's how your prejudices are made. In your mind, it could look very clear and non, you know, subjective. There are people that would prefer to be referred to as, with neutral pronouns, gender neutral pronouns, that don't have any female-male connotation, where they go by, you know, they and their, and won't go by he or she. You know, like myself, who have like been going through transition, where it's like you're existing in two realities almost in your daily life, and you have different interactions with people.
Do people ask you like questions that are like too far?
The biggest no-no would be like anything related to surgery. Sometimes people can be very open about it, and you know, if they are, they'll be the ones to start talking about it. They're not gonna be waiting for someone else to initiate that.
Leave it up to them.
Leave it, yeah.
Their choice, whoever's open enough.
If you want to talk to your friend about surgery, let them start the conversation. There's my cue.
I'm in! Could you please tell us about transitioning and when you knew like you wanted to go through with it?
Oh, sure. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew something was wrong when I was like probably like 5 or 6 years old, since I, you know, basically can remember anything. And I never really knew what it was, because like there wasn't the internet and
no Google.
When I knew that I needed to do something, it was probably like 19, 20, when I was in college, and like it was like the first time I got like away from my, you know, my family and everything, and I kind of had like my own room and my own space, and like, you know, it just felt a lot more freeing, you know, than before. And growing up in the middle of the woods in Connecticut basically was like dressing up as like therapy at that point. I think that's when I knew like I had to transition, and this wasn't going to be just like a cross-dressing thing, and this feelings weren't gonna go away overnight. And, you know, they haven't gone away in, you know, at that point 21 years. I had waited enough time and had, you know, gone through a breakup with a bad breakup with a girlfriend, and like a lot of it like around over like me coming out to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that didn't last very long after that.
Did you have people that supported you while you were transitioning?
Definitely my immediate family. Like my mom has been like my biggest supporter from the beginning. It was, I mean, with anyone, honestly, it's hard at first, going by a different name and going by a different pronouns, and just like, you know, looking different around your friends and family who have known you since you were like a little baby, some of them. And, I've always had like a lot of really great close friends that have been very supportive of me, and
super lucky.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, because I know
it's not usually the case.
It's not always the case. I know a lot of people who they just like don't have a family anymore, really, or it's like they have some support but it's not really genuine. It's more just like tolerating that person. It's almost the same as like, you know, not being accepting at that point, because that's the way it feels for a lot of people I know.
I'm curious though, like why people are so bothered by what you and other people have to do with their own bodies. Like,
it's weird. Yeah, America's like kind of in the middle here, where it's like we're not nearly as progressive as some like Asian countries with like their views on, you know, transgender people, where it's just like a very open thing, and the legislation is way more advanced in that way, and the government's paying for surgeries and hormone replacement therapy, and like, you know, just treating it just like just helping any other person, really, you know, just being honest about reality. And then there's places like Russia where trans people apparently now are not mentally stable enough to drive.
How can the community as a whole support transgender people?
I'd say the best thing to do really is to almost, you know, view it how we view racism or how we deal with issues like going around wealth discrepancy and just like people that different lifestyles and everything. Just treat it like someone that your friend that's gay, you know, it's like everyone's a person, you know, it's like one characteristic about you. Or it doesn't matter like where you come from, what place in the world you were born, like how much money your family came from, if you're a boy, you're a girl, or you don't relate with either of those. There's always a box that everyone's trying to, you know, put us in, and I think, you know, trans people really struggle with escaping their original box, you know what I mean? Because it just feels like you're just kind of thrown into something, and it's just like, I'm a circle and a square peg, and it really hurts right now. I don't like being shoved in here, you know?
Where'd you get those? I need to get 2 of them.